where they'll go from here.
All right, Myra, thank you. Well, as we've mentioned, 300 people woke up today to find out they didn't have a job to go to.
The fire heavily damaged much of the production area of the factory. Meanwhile, others woke up in a hotel after being evacuated last evening. They had to leave because of a threat of an ammonia leak. They have since been allowed to go back to their homes. Tammy Hughes also live in Burlington with more on what the last 24 hours have been like for those people. Tammy, good evening.
Good evening, guys. Yeah, you can imagine when they're still out here putting out hot spots, you can imagine what this was like last night. And they did evacuate about 10 homes and an apartment building in this area. And the residents I talked to that had to leave said they were pretty scared. They felt like they didn't know what was going to be left of their homes once they were allowed back.
My daughter called me and she said, "Dad, something's on fire by Echo Lake Foods."
Bill Pleva lives on Honey Lake Road. He came rushing home Wednesday evening to find Echo Lake Foods, which is right across the street from his house, on fire.
It wasn't even like gray smoke. It was solid black rolls like you see in the movies, how they make like black clouds roll in. What it looked like, it was blowing that way and you could see all the red speckles in it. So it was creepy looking.
Around 6 o'clock something, so I came outside.
Christy Coleman lives right behind the factory with her mother, grandmother, and several pets. Coleman says convincing her grandmother to leave was the hardest thing she's ever done.
She was basically kicking and screaming, not wanting to go. Because she's on oxygen, she can't really walk by herself.
Coleman says her mother and grandmother were put up by the Red Cross at a local hotel. She took some of her pets and stayed with a friend, but had to leave others behind.
I was terrified. I thought I was going to come home to my animals dead.
The Burlington fire chief says residents were evacuated because of a concern the fire would reach several ammonia tanks. Fortunately, it didn't happen, and people were finally allowed back home around 9 Thursday morning.
The tank was the only thing I was worried about. If that tank blew up, it would have been bad. I mean, that'll shoot. That little tree line isn't going to stop shrapnel.
Bill told me he actually used to work in the factory. You're looking at those ammonia tanks, the giant ammonia tanks, and just a big pile of what looks like just smoking metal tonight. He said that area, the production area that you're looking at, is just full of ovens that they use. He said there's also a lot of wood pallets. So he said, yeah, a lot of stuff that could get really hot and would be very flammable. And he is just thinking tonight of all of his friends and people that he still knows who are workers who are tonight. They don't have a job anymore. Reporting live in Burlington, I'm Tammy Hughes, Fox 6 News.
Talk about fire and ice. Is it my perspective through the lens, or are things just covered there? Anything that came in the spray of those fire hoses looks to be frozen.
Yeah, it's very strange. Even, in fact, this has never happened. My lip gloss tonight, they were just telling me it looked white. I think my lip gloss froze. It's so cold out here. So, I mean, everything, you can see him with that hose. He's still spraying on there, but then right below him, yeah, Ted, it looks like a rubble of smoked ice. It's very strange. It's just really cold and wet.
Tough conditions for those firefighters. Tammy Hughes, thank you very much. And Myra mentioned this, but it bears repeating. State and Racine County officials coming together next Wednesday to try to help those 300 workers of the plant. A meeting will be held at the Veterans Terrace in Burlington. At that meeting, they will answer questions, try to help those workers into transition to unemployment. It's scheduled right now to go from 10 in the morning till 3 in the afternoon.
On a much lighter note, it takes a lot.